Attack on Titan Part 1 will be released on August 1st in Japan. A U.S. release date will come later. Let's take a look at the released trailer for it.
奪われた土地を取り戻すため、この栄えある作戦を遂行するために、心臓を捧げよう！心臓を捧げよう！
巨人は不死身じゃない。後頭部より下、うなじにかけて大きく損傷すれば再生することなく絶命する。
巨人殺しの英雄敷島隊長。
最も有効なのは立体起動装置。
行かせないんだ。
世界は残酷。
無理だ、勝ち目なんかねえんだよ。
本当の敵はな、巨人じゃない。
この世界の真実を知りたいんだ。
僕たちが失敗したらそれで人類は終わる。
巨人が巨人を攻撃した。
行くぞ。
人類最後の希望です。
こんなの初めて。
死ぬな。
一緒だったよ、ずっと。
味方。
進撃の巨人。
So it looks pretty good. I do need to say that this movie had a modest budget for special effects.
Okay.
Not, a huge Hollywood blockbuster, one that you might expect from an American analog like Transformers, Pacific Rim, something that would require just a huge spectacle. So I don't know if it quite lands this way, but what do you think?
I mean, I know some people who actually got like a sneak peek here in America, like last week, I think.
Last week there was a screening at the Egyptian.
And they said nothing but positive things about it, so that's kind of cool. I can see why some people are sort of up in arms about the whole thing, because it's like it went from like a manga to an animated series and now to a movie, and I feel like you only really need one translation from a manga, and the animated series was fantastic. Like, it was absolutely beautiful. And so, I can see why some people are like, we don't need a live action movie, but I would still watch it.
If you're a fan of it, you might love to see it in any form.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to be like a jerk about it, but it does, there are some things in that translate maybe to animation, but are harder to translate to live action with not an enormous budget, which is probably what would be required to have all of the, the high-flying stunts and, to have really realistic-looking Titans. It's not easy to do. I do think they did a good job for what they had, though.
Right. Plus, the animated series, it's like 25 episodes, and it's hard to cram.
Season 1. They're going to do another season eventually.
Right.
But,
and it's hard to cram that much story into one movie, though. So I am interested to see how they would translate all of that emotional storytelling and adventure into probably like a 2-hour movie. And I know it's part 1, but that's still 25 episodes.
Well, it's a good thing you brought that up, because
Segue.
Anime News Network has reviewed it. It got overall a positive review. They did put into account the things that I said about maybe it doesn't translate so well from the page to the screen. Maybe it didn't have the same kind of budget you might expect. But what they did complain about a little bit is how different it is from the original versions, the anime and the manga. So they're different tales almost. They have a different setup. Even if you look at the main character, Eren, so in the original version, you might imagine him like chomping at the bit to like fight the enemy at all costs and to protect the people he loves. This one is kicking at, I'm reading a quote from Anime News Network, kicking at the dead shells of old warheads while denying that Titans even exist, even as fairy tales to keep people away from the world they deserve. This one is a starry-eyed fool dying to throw open the lid to Pandora's box, while the original version was more determined, trying really hard to make things happen and protect people he loves. Mikasa is very different. So while you may remember her as being a warrior, stoic,
first in her class,
badass, she's kind of more like scared. She doesn't want Eren being taken away from her. She's a little bit more, I would say, vulnerable. So that's kind of a de-evolution of that character. But other characters are said to be more or less who they were. Like Hans and Sasha are basically the same.
Got it, got it. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. See, I feel like if they do take a different approach to, you know, the storyline or the characters or whatever in the movie, then they probably can do something with the storytelling because now it's in their control and they aren't following some specific timeline from the manga or the anime. So that's really cool.
I mean, that's probably a wise choice.
Absolutely.
I mean, given that it's not going to be, it's not possible or easy maybe to make this happen the way you would possibly imagine the originals leaping to real life. So it probably needs to be its own story and its own universe with its different characters. And I'm sure a lot of people will not like it, but maybe some other people will really enjoy this version. I mean, we look at superhero movies in the US and a lot of people, including myself, aren't too happy with certain adaptations, but on the other hand, it is its own world.
I think, yeah, sure, there will be some people upset about the Attack on Titan movie, but for people who aren't gigantic fans like me, I think I'll watch it and be like, hey, you know, that was actually pretty good. I think they did a really good job, so.
Yeah, I didn't mean to be like, ugh, look at this and look at that. But it's more like pointing out, you know, maybe that there are some differences and maybe some of them aren't all that great. Audience, what do you think of the Attack on Titan last trailer? And did you see the screening last week? Well, why did you get invited and not me? Anyway, let us know below what your thoughts are on this movie in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe for more.